Hello! We are doing the numerology and the astrology for April 7th, 2020. So if you add all of that together, you get the number 5. Actually, you get a 15, and if you add the 1 and the 5 together, you get a 6. And the number 6 is sort of the perfect day for introspection and self-isolation, which we clearly need to be doing in the world at the moment. It's a day of meditation. It's a day that is associated with Saint Hildegard, who was a nun, and she lived in a monastery. And so you might be feeling like you're living in a monastery at this point, but I want you to embrace the monastery. Allow it to drop you in to a simpler, less complicated way of being. And perhaps this is the time to participate in a global meditation practice that keeps going on at the moment. Like anything we can do to shift this trajectory would be great. And just think inward is the direction. Perhaps you need to explore magic of your inner dimensions. The one thing I have never regretted at any point in my life was any spiritual journey that I chose to experience. And there are many things that are life affirming and life fulfilling, and going into your inner world is a limitless journey that is always interesting and gives way more back than it ever takes. So to me, let's dive in there. Let's have an adventure in ourselves and learn to listen and pay attention to the amazing subtleties that are happening right now in the world. Okay. If we look at the astrology, on April 7th, there is a full moon, and it's in the Libra Aries trajectory. And this is the second of 3 super full moons. Bleh, I can talk. And this one is closer to the Earth than it is in March. And that close proximity makes it like really the most powerful out of all the 3. And it's considered a pink moon. And the pink moon is great because I like to think of pink as the color of the heart chakra. And it's about love. And everyone could use a little love right now. So while the Libra part of this moon wants to be social and improve relationships and find that balance, and, at the same time, we're supposed to be staying socially distant. So this is my way of being socially interactive by putting these things out every day. And I am so happy that so many of you are really enjoying them, and I'm grateful for the feedback. And so that has been really lovely and helpful. Okay, now, so reach out on the internet, reach out in these different ways. Anything we can do to connect with each other to make us feel like we're socially engaged is going to be good. Now, the moon and the sun are both in Aries, and they're also asking us to pioneer a new path. And, everybody that knows me knows that I am a Leo. And so I'm an incredibly positive, optimistic person. And we need the new path. We need the leaders with the ideas that can carry us out of this mess monster of a world and carry us into a world that works for everybody. And if ever we needed a pioneering Aries new path, this is that moment. Now, the earthy level of this full moon is to take action to improve relationships, including your relationship with yourself. The spiritual frequency asks you to revolutionize your value systems and to live a higher balance in your life. Then Jupiter and Pluto are challenging forces right now, and Jupiter is pushing you to expand your beliefs and allow a larger expression of your true self, and Pluto pushes you to address your fears, your emotional wounds, or anything that disempowers you, and you're being asked to choose to live in accordance with your higher spiritual principles, which sounds easy to do, but right now there are certain people that say spiritual principles out of their mouth and then act in very bizarre, Christian ways. And so I want everybody to be in alignment with their values. That would be nice. There is, of course, a challenging aspect, in case you didn't notice, the feeling between the warrior Mars and the revolutionary Uranus. On one level, we're being asked to take action and to open to innovative ways to live our life. But the universe has a plan and a tempo, and sometimes you cannot rush the energy as it's unfolding. And I know everybody wants this to be over, and I want it to be over too, but you just cannot push Earth energy except at the pace that it needs to be at. And so there are things that are just going to take time. And I keep warning everybody, because everything is frozen in winter signs, that it's going to take a very, very long time, because so many of these things are frozen in winter for a long time. I mean, this could be decades if we're really looking at it on the bigger spectrum of things. But I think we're trying to kickstart something into a new place, and let's do that. Let's do new things. Okay. So, the spiritual frequency is to take action and to revolutionize your value system to live in a higher balance. And some may use this energy to be combative and to rebel against the system. I have concerns about the rebelliousness and that happens in all cultures, because it's not just our own culture. But I think Americans are a little bit more rebellious, because it's kind of like the Australians, that, you know, they were a country that was supposedly the prisoners were sent from England to Australia. So they have a rebellious attitude. And I think Americans did the same thing. I mean, we left cultures because we weren't allowed spiritual freedom, religious freedom. And so we have a little bit of a rebellious, kick in there too. So I'm a little concerned about us reining that in and learning to have some self-control and discipline from a mature aspect, because the way this astrology goes is we could have some really intense moments if we don't get ourselves in some sort of clarity, and we don't get our governments to start moving in a way that are listening to the people, because then the people are just going to get louder and louder and louder. So, okay, now Mercury is conjuncting with Jupiter and Pluto, and it makes you more aware that this change is one that is going to be powerful and long term. And know that you do not need to rush or push. Your perspective is expanding, and there is tension that is going to happen with this change. So, my quote for today: this is the moment. A moment to make a memory that is so powerful that it can heal the places that you did not show up in someone's life. What I mean by that is that this is this moment that, your kids may and your grandkids may remember forever. They're going to remember this coronavirus because I got to spend unlimited time with my parents, and we got to play games, and it was, it was so much fun, and we got to do things together, and we were baking cookies, and that was like the best time of our life. And it's amazing how one great moment can actually change a whole bunch of bad moments where you didn't show up. Like, one great moment is the memory that will stick with them for a long time. So let's make this the moment. I mean, let's make it the moment. I mean, why not? Make this a moment that we all get to sit back and laugh and remember the coronavirus. And oh my God, we played games we never played in years. And, we fell back into playing Scrabble and all these, wonderful things that they will have as a memory. I had a friend of mine that she was in an abusive marriage and got divorced and had no money, and she had a child, and she literally had to make a decision between eating and having heat, and she chose eating. And her daughter still remembers shadow puppets, that her mother had candles and they would play endless games of shadow puppets. And so the child doesn't even remember this terrible moment. All she remembers is this incredible long winter where they got to play nonstop shadow puppets. And so I kind of go, again, one good moment can change a whole bunch of bad moments. So let's make a memory. Let's make a moment that will last for your child's eternity or your family's eternity. Okay? All right. Now, my blog. I was watching the recent Patrick Stewart movie, Coda, which, by the way, is awesome. It's a little slow, but it's really awesome. You should watch it. And The tempo and the pace of the movie reminded me of my time living in Europe and the patience and timeless focus that is reflected in European artists and musicians. Now, I've lived all over the world, and when you are in foreign countries for a long period of time, you learn to listen. Really listen. Listen to the music of a culture, a country, the land, and its people. What always struck me as profound in Europe was the immense respect that was given to artists, musicians, composers, etc. In Germany, the German government subsidizes the arts because they see them as being so critically important. And I find that so refreshing. I mean, like going to the theater is an incredible experience. Like Europeans participate in an audience. They're not going to the theater to kind of escape or get out of their reality. They are not going to fall asleep in the theater or in the symphony. They are going to have that artist drop them into the feeling that that artist or that music is choosing to express. They are there to become a part of a magical field of energy. They are not separate from the artist. They are one with the artist. They feel the artist's emotions through the presentation of the music or the theater or the ballet or whatever. European audiences are highly educated in art and respectful of art. Now, that is not to say that if you do something artistically that is terrible in a theater in Europe, that they will not loudly let you know and walk out, because they will. I've been in an audience when they've done that. And there's a presence to an audience in Europe that is often lacking in the U.S. Theater is deeply shared. It's like a deeply shared experience that expresses the longing, the pathos, the most profound emotions that the human condition can create. They sense that through music and art, humanity reaches past its limitations and suffering and into the limitless potential that was the true gift of being here on earth. European music reflects the consistency and patience that has carried Europe through world wars and the immense effort of recovery. And music has been the thread of hope that keeps souls going. When I listen to music of every country, I hear the heartbeat and the soul of its people. I hear the trials and tribulations. I hear the desires and passions of their soul. I hear the cries and prayers of their conjoined soul quest. That is what makes cultures so interesting. The countries themselves, I really believe, are a frequency and a harmony of a particular expression, and those souls born or raised there are co-contributors to that frequency that are deeply a part of the music that springs forth from those lands. When I hear popular, and I say popular, American music, I hear the restlessness and impatience of youthful exuberance. When I hear Russian music, I hear the pathos, the passion, the emotional intensity, and the largeness of their country. When I hear Japanese music, I hear the pealing wails of the wind through the land, the controlled softness of a land that counters its intense landscapes with the gentlest of whispers and honor. So today, listen to the music that draws you. It is a reflection of your own heart and soul. It speaks to the part of you that you have trouble explaining. It touches the places that you do not allow others in. But never limit yourself musically. Reach past your places of comfort. Discover the domains of emotional and energetic expression that are yet to be uncovered. You are an undiscovered country. Let yourself wander in that country until you find out who you are. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in. I wish you safety, health, take care of yourself, and I will see you tomorrow.